Questions of Doom.
Hello, welcome back to another Questions of Doom. In this series, as ever, I attempt to answer questions that you send my way using the archaeosoup@gmail.com email address, as displayed on the YouTube channel homepage, or alternatively at the end of this video. It's my fond hope that in answering these questions by video, the answer is not only useful to the person who asks the question, but also to anyone else out there in YouTube land who may be wondering the same thing. So, today's question comes from K East. It's quite an interesting name, K.East. And it's very straightforward. Dear Archaeosoup, I imagine as an archaeologist you are often called upon to tackle all sorts of grim and gruesome tasks. Which is the most disturbing task you have ever had to perform? Thanks, K.East. Well, K.East, or K-East, or Keist. Yes, you're right. I've definitely come across my fair share of disturbing tasks. But there's one that really stands out in my mind, and that was when I was helping a professional archaeology unit attached to the unit, well, attached to the department where I studied archaeology at university. And I was working with them for a couple of months, and at one point I was asked to go to the defleshing room. Let me repeat that: defleshing room. And so, what's the defleshing room? I asked, rather quietly and subtly. What might that be? And they said, well, you know, sometimes we're donated animal remains. People donate sheep, maybe that have died on their farm, or perhaps their favourite dog has has passed away. So they donate these remains, including rabbits and voles and all sorts of other things, badgers that maybe have been killed. They donate them to the department, and in order to be useful as teaching aids, they have to be defleshed, so that the bones can be collected and analysed. I went, oh, yes. Well, Mark, they said, can you go to the defleshing room, and we'd like you to start washing some soil samples. For some reason, all the sinks in the normal laboratories were being used for other things. So this particular task was to be mine. Now, the more I think about this, the more I'm convinced they were setting me up. But I don't know. So I went downstairs, all the way down. It's several flights of stairs, all the way to the basement, to the cellar, and entered the defleshing room. And as you can imagine, it's an interesting experience. Everything sort of, well, at that stage, everything was sort of hanging in like plastic bags, having been defleshed, but they're all kind of sealed up, or well, in the process of being defleshed, but having been exposed to certain chemicals, then they're sort of hung up in a plastic bag so that everything can kind of take effect, and all the bits can fall off, and the bones are... Ugh. So I go in. The smell's not great, and it's very, very creepy. Everything's kind of hanging, and you've got little boxes full of probably dead animals around as well. And I get to the sink, and there's my soil samples that I need to be washing, or sort of, I suppose, checking for other bits and bobs, and a series of sieves and the sink. Great. Okay, I'll get started. Put some gloves on, and obviously that's the noise you make when you're washing soil. So I'm going, quite happily going on. Got some music in my ears, just kind of trying to relax. And then there's a power cut. So with this power cut, all the lights go out, and I'm stuck in the defleshing room, surrounded by dead animals, corpses essentially hanging from the ceiling in plastic bags, and I've got to try and find the door. It's the first time that I've ever been in the room, and there's no emergency lighting either, for some reason, in that one room. So I'm feeling my way along to a rather large bag, and unfortunately it hits me in the face. It kind of burst, and I get all sorts of muck all over me. And it was the remains of a badger that I got covered in. It was horrible. So there you go. As you can probably tell, it is certainly something which has stuck with me. In fact, it stuck to me for a while, and that is probably the most disturbing task I've ever been asked to perform. and certainly the most disturbing outcome of a task I've ever been asked to perform in an archaeological context. So, so there you go, defleshing room and power cut. That was fun. Yeah. Um, Now, this, I suspect, is a question which every archaeologist will have a different answer to. So I would very much encourage any and all who watch this video who have a grim story to share to please post below and help k.east or Keist to gather more fascinating and wonderfully grim, gruesome stories together. So yes, I don't know. It's horrible. It's grim. So there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking the question, k.east or Keist. I'm glad I got that off my chest, and certainly glad I got it off my face. So, thank you again for asking. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And feel free to share your grim stories below, because I'm sure that there are plenty out there. So, until next time, thank you very much.